Now, obviously some of you guys clicked on this just because of the thumbnail saying farm guides are trash. One of the most common questions I get asked in my Discord and in the comment sections of YouTube videos is, why don't I have a farm guide, or do I have a farm guide? And I always have to explain that no, I don't have a farm guide, and I don't believe in farm guides. Farm guides like this one are trash. Hi guys, welcome back for another one. It is time for Resource Management 2022, well overdue, as it's been over 13 months since the last time I brought out a resource management video, so my apologies to all the new and mid-game players that have joined the game since then that I have not been there for you, but I am here for you today. Now, what is Resource Management? Resource Management is my series where I give every character in the game a rating number based on the game modes they are useful for. Game modes that I put high importance on, they score more points. The game modes that I see that are the least important, the lower the rating the character will get if they're useful in that game mode. And then I combine everything together, so I have a list of the most useful characters in the game to help you skyrocket from beginning to end game much quicker than if you were following a farm guide. So today's video is the prologue. This is just breaking everything down to make sure that you guys understand what resource management is. If you've never experienced this series before, the following videos after this one will be breaking down game modes or characters, either or, to help you understand the fastest way to progress through this game. Now, the main reason why I do the prologue is because I usually will get a lot of comments in the YouTube sections from these videos of people that obviously just don't understand what's going on here, so they draw their own conclusions and they're totally lost. And I'm here to help you guys. That's the main reason why I do this prologue. And there will be an eye in the corner of the screen of every video going forward to reference this video, so that way if they need more information, they can come back and fully understand what's going on. With that said, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into exactly what Resource Management 2022 is. Resource Management 2022 is my rating system of how useful a character is in unlocking content and gaining sustainable resources. It is not an exclusive free-to-play list. Free-to-play players, I highly recommend that you follow this series and follow my guidelines. And this guide, to be clear, is the entire playlist. And obviously, this being the first video, if this is the one you're catching first, it's going to be everything that follows this that really helps you out. So the biggest changes, if you've caught my 2021 series to 2022, is we have 2 new Doom War campaign chapters that were not included in the original data that are now included in 2022. We have 5 brand new challenges, which are basically each origin type, which we'll get into in a later video. We have 2 new legendaries since last time I did one of these videos. We have Adam Warlock and Omega Red. Raids, believe it or not, 13 months ago, U7 was the top raid content in the game. Since then, we've moved the whole way to Doom 2, so there'll be a huge progression in characters that are viable in raids. Next up, the old data was Dark Dimension 3. It's hard to believe how much this game has progressed in this amount of time. But we're going to be moving everything up to Dark Dimension 5, so a lot of characters have lost their usability from that video over a year ago. And there is one monthly new event, highly controversial, the Nowhere Heist. So what game modes will not be included in the scoring? Well, it's going to be a lot of your PvP content, right? War, real-time arena, just not going to be included in the scoring because that content is never constant. It's constantly changing as players develop their roster. I'm pretty sure Grand Tournament will also fall in this category of things that I will not score, but obviously I'll make a reevaluation once the game mode's here and I see the rewards that are tied to it. Also not included, Pocket Dimension. I can't grade a character's efficiency if they're constantly changing the tag of the characters that are viable. So Pocket Dimension hits in this category. Avengers Tower and Blitz, they're pretty much the same thing, right? You got to build a wide roster to really excel in these. You can't build tall, and I highly recommend as a new and mid-game player, you focus on building tall before you build wide. So now I'm going to focus on the game mode specifically that the characters score for, and I'm ranking these in the importance order. So you guys get an idea of what I'm ranking the most important in the game down to the least important game of content that doesn't really ever change. I mean, it does get updated sometimes, but it is PvE content. So first off, a big change for 2021. I consider challenges the top thing in 2021. I have changed that to Doom Raids mainly because challenges did not get an update last year. So those resources are no longer top end game resources. Doom Raids is. And a lot of times I'll refer to characters as endgame characters. You guys can expect this verbiage to come out later from me in future videos. Endgame characters are characters that are viable in Doom raids, which means they are needed for the end game content. So yeah, characters most useful in Doom raids get the highest rating possible in that category. Next up, campaign usage. Even though some of these campaigns take characters that are not useful in the end game, it is still very useful for you unlocking content, getting more resources, and especially getting to the farmability of some of the end game characters. Next up, challenges. Now, I didn't upgrade this graphic to include the 5 new challenges because that would be way too many graphics on one page. But yes, this is where I rank it, so it's down a few spots from where I used to rank it in importance. Next up, arena usage. This one's a big one. A lot of people argue that arena is the most important thing because of cores, whatever. If you were free to play, the chances of you jumping straight up to #1 are very slim to none. The highest rating that I have ever gotten in arena as a free to play player was 16th. That was the highest I ever got. And I didn't get that in my first month. I didn't get that in my first 6 months. I didn't even get that in my first year. It was well into my second year playing when I finally reached that high. And that was just mainly because the spenders, if you're a spender, it's a possibility you could get there, but you get your butt kicked. So my recommendation is always try to find a way to get in the top 250, stay in the top 250, move up as far as you can, but don't go crazy. And like I said, the cores, I'll have a video coming out later in the future about power core and stuff like that to help you guys understand how to use them and why you don't really need the most amount that you can get in the top 20. But the goal is to stay below 250, and you don't need the best characters in the game, or let's just say the best characters for arena in the game. You just need to have the best characters available, put them in, and the chances are you'll be able to plug away. If you're free to play, you may struggle to get up to the top 500 and then struggle down to get to 250. But if you keep at it and you keep following my path and you're an active player, you will get below that 250 mark. Trust me. Next up, Dark Dimension is also a thing that's rated. I go straight to the highest end content, which is Dark Dimension 5. Useful there. You get your rating. Let's move on. Next up, characters are rated on if they unlock a legendary, right? This goes for characters that are useful, right? Every game mode that requires you to unlock content, which includes legendaries, they get a rating for. So characters that can unlock legendaries will get a rating for doing so. Even though not all legendaries are created equal, let's be honest. There's a huge difference between Omega Red and Iron Man. And lastly, on the bottom, I rate is monthly events. The main reason why I rate this at the bottom, even though each individual event, I probably would rate it differently. Like Chaos Theory, I'd probably rate it higher than, let's say, Catalyst of Change. Mainly why I rate this last is because some of the characters that you need to rank up for these monthly events are not great characters. Let's be honest. So giving the characters that are useful here a very high rating, it seems very counterproductive in trying to give you guys the most useful characters to build up. Now, before we end this video, other topics you guys can expect me to cover in this resource management playlist series, whatever you want to call it, is I'm planning on doing a video for ISO management, talking about Blitz, core efficiency, Red Star, supply store, orbs in general, alliances, war, real-time arena, gold spending, the Avenger Tower mode, and much, much more as things develop throughout this year in 2022. So stay tuned, as like I said, this entire playlist, which you guys will be able to find on my channel, is going to have every tip and guide for new mid-game players. I don't know, maybe some end-game players will find it useful too. But guys, that will do it for this video on the prologue. I hope you guys are excited to see the first data, as I do plan on redoing probably the most popular video that I've ever done in this series. Is called No Regrets, where I give you guys the top 20 most useful characters in the game. That will be the next video out. After that, you guys will be getting the trap, the characters that are basically in the game, and if you invest in them, you will actually slow your progress down because of the lack of their usability. And then future down the line, you guys will be getting a breakdown of character rankings for each campaign mode, each challenge, and so much more. And I can't wait to bring it to you guys. So guys, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more of this playlist as it comes out, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe if you haven't done so already, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more Resource Management 2022 videos come out. And with that said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.